सबसे पहले तो मैं CSR रिसर्च फाउंडेशन के चेयरमैन श्री दीनदयाल अग्रवाल जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा कि उन्हें मुझ जैसे छोटे आदमी को यहाँ बुला करके बहुत ही बड़ा कार्य किया है। मैं दिल से उनका शुक्रगुजार हूँ। और इससे पहले कि मैं फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूशन और CSR रिसर्च फाउंडेशन के बारे में कुछ बोलूं, मैं मंच पर मंचासीन सभी अतिथियों का, जिनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति मुझे उत्साहित कर रही है कि मैं बोलना शुरू करूं, और मंच के समक्ष जो बैठे हुए मेरे अतिथिगण हैं उनका हार्दिक रूप से अभिनंदन करता हूं। इससे पहले कि मैं आगे कुछ कहूं, हमारे देश ने कोविड में बहुत ही त्रासदी देखी है। अगर विश्व के अन्य देशों के साथ अगर हम तुलना करें तो वो त्रासदी काफ़ी कम है, और ये सब कुछ हमारे जो प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं और उनके जो कैबिनेट में जो साथी हैं उनके प्रयासों और हम सब लोगों ने जो समय समय पर जो योगदान दिया है उसके कारण हुआ है। ये लंच के बाद का सेशन है, थोड़ा आलस भी आता है, तो मैं उसको, जिससे आपके मन थोड़ा जो आलस आ रहा है, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि हम सभी का कल्याण हो, उसके लिए थोड़ा सब लोग अपनी कमर सीधी कर लें। और मैं चूंकि हम सब कल्याण की अपेक्षा करते हैं तो मैं कल्याण मंत्र बोल करके अपनी बात को शुरू करूंगा। आप सबसे अनुरोध है कि कृपया अपनी कमर सीधी कर लें। जी। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिना, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, माँ कश्चित् दुख भाग भवेत्। ओम शांति 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 ओम। Now I come to the topic, financial inclusion. Financial inclusion, as the word says, was in existence and in practice in the ancient days also, even during Mughal days, even during the Manu days, even during the Kautilya days. Kings used to levy taxes on the subject, and these taxes were levied to meet out the financial requirements of the kingdom and to reduce the gap between haves and have-nots. During this Kautilya days, Kautilya Arthashastra says that the king certainly has the right to levy taxes, but the taxes should be in such a way that the payer should not feel any problem in that and should not feel the harassment of the taxation. Financial inclusion as defined is the availability and the equality of the opportunity to access the financial services. It refers the process by which individuals and business can access appropriate, affordable and timely financial products and services. These includes banking, loan, equity and insurance products. Financial inclusion efforts typically target those who are unloaned or underloaned and direct sustainable financial services to them. Financial inclusion is understood to go beyond merely opening a bank account. It is possible for the banks, individuals to be excluded from the financial services. Having more inclusive financial system has been linked to the stronger and the more sustainable economic growth and the development. And plus, achieving financial inclusion has become a priority of many countries across the globe. In year 2018, it was estimated that billions of the adults backed even the bank account. Among those who the unbanked and the significant numbers were women and the poor people in the rural areas. And those who were excluded from the financial institutions faced discrimination and belong to the vulnerable and the marginalized population. While it is recognized that not all individuals need or want financial services, the goal of the financial inclusion is to remove all barriers, both supply side and as well as the demand side. Supply side barriers stem from the financial institutions themselves. They often indicate the poor financial infrastructure and induce lack of the nearby financial institutions. High cost of the opening of the accounts or documentation required. Demand side Barriers refer to the aspects of the individual seeking financial services and include the poor financial literacy, lack of the financial capability, or culture or religious benefits that impact their financial decisions. There is some skepticism from some experts about the effectiveness of the financial inclusion initiatives. Research on the microfinance initiatives indicates that wide availability of the credit of the micro entrepreneurs can produce financial intermediation and the unintended form of the entrepreneurship. Now the four factors such as investment, experience, technology and capabilities. Combined with the other four, these are the technology innovation and are the real ingredients of the financial inclusion. India has been suffering from the huge deficit in the infrastructure facilities. In India, the Indian government perceives the public-private partnership model as the preferred mode of the bridge this deficit and has initiated several measures in this regard. Basic aspects of PPP and how to work in India, financing and infrastructure is one of the major issues. This includes financing from the infrastructure finance companies, issues in the external commercial borrowings, non-availability and the mezzanine financing, partial availability of the insurance, pension and the provident funds, and non-financing issues that are the plaguing infrastructure finance in India. The recent improvements in this sector such as infrastructure, debt bonds, lax norm of the external commercial borrowings and the reasonable exit options for the examined various financial reforms that are needed in PPP financing in India, such as tapping into saving, allowing foreign direct investment, increasing the cap on viability, gap funding, allowing balloon payment, giving impetus to the corporation bonds, and building infrastructure corpus are the major initiatives which the government has taken from time to time since 2014. Now, for this, the National Strategy for the Financial Inclusion 2019 to 2024 has been framed. The National Strategy for Financial Inclusion set forth the vision and the key effectiveness of the financial inclusion policies in India to help expand and sustain the financial inclusion process in the national level through a broad convergence of the action involving all the stakeholders in the financial sector. The strategy aims to provide access to the formal financial services in an affordable manner, broadening and deepening the financial inclusion and the promoting financial literacy and the consumer protection. Now the vision of the financial inclusion to make the financial available, accessible and affordable to all the citizens in the safe and the transparent manner, to support inclusive and the resilient multi-stakeholders growth includes universal access to the financial services. It is the policy of the government that the financial services should be made available to even from top to the bottom level. Number 2, the providing basic bucket of the financial services. Number 3, access to the livelihood and skill development. Number 4, financial literacy and education. Number 5, consumer protection, the grievance redressal. And last but not the least, effective coordination among all the aspects of the financial inclusion. The National Strategy for the Financial Inclusion 2019 includes the cross-country analysis of the lessons, status of the financial inclusion in India, strategy objectives, recommendations and measures for the progress of the financial inclusion. Keeping in the mind of the requirement of the financial inclusion has tried aspects. Number 1, financial inclusion policies. Number 2, financial literacy initiatives. Number 3, customer grievance redressal framework. The National Strategy for the Financial Inclusion in India has been prepared by the RBI under the aegis of the Financial Inclusion Advisory Committee and is based on the inputs and suggestions from the Government of India. Other financial aspects, financial sector regulators including Security Exchange Board of India, IRDA, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, and Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority of India. This document also reflects various outcomes from the wide-ranging consultations held with a range of the stakeholders and the market players, including National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, the NABARD, National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI, commercial banks and the corporate business correspondence, etc. It includes the analysis of the status and the constraints in the financial inclusion in India, specific financial inclusion goals, strategy to reach the goals, and the mechanisms to measure the progress. So these are the basic areas which I have covered not in depth. Now I come to the measures and the policies adopted by the Government of India from time to time. If you go through the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI Governor in July 2021 said that the central bank will soon be coming out with the first financial inclusion index, which will assess progress in the terms of the access, usage, and the quality. The Reserve Bank of India will very soon be coming out with the first financial inclusion index, which will assess progress in terms of the access, usage, and the quality. It is the responsibility of all stakeholders to ensure that the financial ecosystem, including the digital medium, is inclusive and capable of the effective addressing risk, mis-selling, cyber security, data privacy, and the promoting trust in the financial system through appropriate financial education and awareness. As all of you would be knowing that the cyber crimes are taking place from time to time. Somebody telephones to the customer that you have won the lottery, we want to verify your account details. So the system has to be developed. As far as the financial inclusion is concerned, the development of financial inclusion technologies is taking place, but cyber security is the major issue which has to be dealt with firmly, and the proper action is needed by the government, and the proper mechanism in this regard has already been developed and it needs further improvements. Since the start of the last decade, financial inclusion has been a key focus area in the RBI to help formalize the economy by ensuring that banks reach the people. Technological advances made it easier, and the government also gave a greater thrust with the launch of the PM Jan Dhan Yojana scheme. In order to make the post-pandemic recovery more inclusive, the sustainable financial inclusion would continue to be our priority. That was principle laid by the Reserve Bank of India. And to measure the extent of the financial inclusion in the country, it was decided to construct the periodicity of publishing the financial inclusion index. The index have parameters across the three dimensions, including access, usage, and the quality. Financial inclusion is a key driver of the sustained and the balanced economic growth, which helps reduce inequality and poverty. And while we have made the tremendous strides on this aspect, the pandemic has created newer challenges and complexities before the financial world. The financial system will have a crucial role to fulfill the aspirations and needs of the economy. During the pandemic, the RBI efforts on the financial inclusion have helped in the enabling the government to provide timely support through cash transfers and the direct benefit transfer schemes. Rupees 5.53 lakhs crores was transferred digitally across the 319 government schemes spread over 54 ministries in financial year 2021. The Reserve Bank of India has taken a slew of the measures to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19, including rate cuts, tap-on liquidity, cash reserve ratio exemptions, and tweaks in the priority sector lending schemes. Payments are lifeline of the economy, and the operationalization of the Payment Infrastructure Development Fund (PIDF) has provided the necessary impetus for the development of payment acceptance infrastructure in 3 to 6 tier centers in the northern states. The fund is an initiative jointly carried out by the RBI, bank, and the card networks. Substantial progress has been made by the banks with respect to the financial inclusion plans (FIPs), which the Reserve Bank has advised them to prepare. Greater focus is now being given to the addressing the vulnerable segments of the economy and the population, while paying attention to the consumer protection and the enhancing the capacity of the customers to the responsible and sustainable use of the financial services can be achieved. The RBI has encountered challenges in the financial inclusion, which include how to identify the customer, reaching the last mile, and provide relevant products that are safe. Scaling up to the center of the financial literacy, the CFL project across the country at the block level by March 2024 is expected to enhance the effectiveness of the community-led participatory approaches for the greater financial literacy. Dozens of the state education boards in the country have consented to include the financial inclusion education in their curriculum to ensure kids get going for the crucial knowledge. There is a need of the accelerated universal reach of bank accounts along the access to the financial products relating to the credit, investment, insurance and pension. So these were the initiatives which were taken by the Reserve Bank of India on the motivation of the Government of India. Now the Government of India has also taken certain measures, and the Honorable Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Finance Minister of the India, in this year 2021 declared certain measures for the relief of the country, which includes 1.1 lakh crore loan guarantee scheme for the COVID affected sectors. Number 2, additional rupees 1.5 lakhs crore of emergency credit line guarantee. Number 3, credit guarantee scheme to facilitate loans to 25 lakhs person through microfinance institutions. Next is financial support to more than 11,000 registered tourist guides, travel and tourism stakeholders. Next is free 1 month tourist visa to first 5 lakh tourists. Next is extension of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana till 31st March 2022. Additional subsidy of rupees 14,775 crores for DAP and PAP fertilizers. Next is extension of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana food grain to March 22. Earlier it was up to the November 21. Now it is March 2022. 21 varieties of the bio-fortified crop for the nutrition, climate resilience and the other traits to be dedicated to the nation. Revival of the Northeastern Regional Agriculture Marketing Corporation with package of 77.45 crores. 33,000 crores boost to the project exports through National Export Guarantee Insurance Account. 88,000 crores boost to the export insurance cover. 19,041 crores to the broadband to each village through BharatNet PPP model. Extension of the tenure of the PLI scheme to large scale electronics manufacturing till 2025-26. 3.03 lakhs crores for reform-based result-linked power distribution system. New streamlined process for the PPP project and the assets monetization. Now, these are the government initiative, but these initiative has to be implemented at the grassroots level. One of our ex-Prime Minister during his speech has mentioned that if we send rupee 1, so while it is reaching at the end, it comes to 10 paisa. Now, due to this digitalization, if 1 rupee is sent from the center, then 1 rupee reaches to the person to whom it has been sent. Now, our as the citizen of the India, it is our duty also. It is not on the government only. It is the duty of every citizen that they have to perform. They have to be honest and sincere as far as the implementation aspect of the financial inclusion scheme is concerned. Our earlier speakers, including Mr. Agarwal, who has mentioned that, mentioning the example of the truck drivers who were plying the trucks, and whenever they were reaching any barrier or something, they were paying bribes. So actually a national character has to be built in this manner. It is not the one person who can make the national character. It is we who will be making and who have to make. जैसे एक संस्कृत में श्लोक कहा गया है कि शैले शैले न माणिक्यम मौक्तिकम न गजे गजे साधवो नहीं सर्वत्रम चंदनम न बने बने, अर्थात पर्वत पर्वत पर, हर पर्वत पर मणियाँ नहीं होती, हर हाथी के मस्तिष्क में मोती नहीं होता है, और हर जंगल में साधु नहीं होते, हर जंगल में मतलब चंदन का वृक्ष नहीं होता, और सज्जन व्यक्ति हर जगह नहीं होते। लेकिन हमें अपना नेशनल कैरेक्टर, हमारा देश सोने की चिड़िया कहा जाता था। 1900 स्वतंत्रता से पहले या अंग्रेज़ों के शासनकाल के समय पर, जब उनका शासनकाल शुरू हुआ था, भारत का वर्ल्ड की जीडीपी में 24 से 28% तक का कंट्रीब्यूशन था, और भारत को सोने की चिड़िया कहा जाता था। अचानक ऐसा क्या हो गया कि हम दिन पर दिन हमारी जो इकोनॉमी है वो डाउन चली गई, और इसका एनालिसिस आप सभी लोगों ने भी किया है, मैं भी यही है कि जो रॉ मटेरियल था उसको बाहर ले जाया जाता था और वहाँ से फिनिश गुड्स आता था, तो इससे हमारी इंडिया इकोनॉमी को सफ़र करना पड़ता था। कितना समय है सर मेरे पास? हाउ मच आई कैन स्पीक? अभी है समय? अच्छा, ठीक है, तो मैं कंक्लूड करता हूँ अपनी बात को। हमारे प्रिय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए कि जो करप्शन, फाइनेंशियल करप्शन है, पैसा का जो लेन देन है, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए डिमोनेटाइजेशन के प्रोसेस को शुरू किया। उस डिमोनेटाइजेशन के प्रोसेस को डिजिटल करेंसी की उन्होंने शुरुआत की, डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस को मोटिवेट किया। मुझे लगता है कि उस डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन के इनिशिएटिव से और डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन के होने की वजह से काफ़ी हम लोगों के इसमें जो करेंसी का जो उसमें जो वियर एंड टीयर होता है वो भी कम हुआ है, और उस पर ईजी भी हो गया है, ट्रांजैक्शन को करना ईजी हो गया है। और आगे वाले समय में जो जैसा कि गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी है, फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन के एस्पेक्ट को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही मोर एंड मोर डिजिटलाइजेशन के लिए हम लोग जा रहे हैं। मेरे से पहले जो वक्ता हैं जिन्होंने अपनी अपनी बातें रखी हैं, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें कही हैं और वाकई बहुत ही प्रशंसनीय बात है। मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा जानकारी, हालांकि सीए में ज़रूर हूँ, लेकिन मैं समाज के नज़दीक रहता हूँ, तो समाज के से संबंधित जो एस्पेक्ट हैं, गाँव में जिस तरह की ट्रांजेक्शन होते हैं, और जो फाइनेंशियल जो हाउस होल्ड लेडीज़ को, जो लोग जिनकी फैमिलीज़ में जो लोग थोड़ा खाने पीने वाले होते हैं, लेडीज़ को परेशान करते हैं, पैसा मांगते हैं या कुछ शराब पी करके कुछ उत्पाद करते हैं, मैं समझ रहा हूँ कि उससे इन सब चीज़ों में भी कमी आई है। और ये फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन जो गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी, डिजिटलाइजेशन का जो दौर है, इससे हम निश्चय ही आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ओर चलेंगे। अभी जो इसमें कोविड के दौरान जो देश ने जो सहा है, ऑक्सीजन की प्रॉब्लम हुई, पैसे लोगों के पास में होते हुए भी कहीं हॉस्पिटल में नहीं जा पाए, तो मैं सेल में डायरेक्ट रहते हुए हमारे पास सेल में करीब एक हफ्ते की पूरे देश की जो ऑक्सीजन की रिक्वायरमेंट है वो हमारे पास प्लांट्स में थी, और प्लांट्स को हमने रोका, प्रोडक्शन को रोका, और देश के हर हिस्से को हमने ऑक्सीजन के ट्रेन्स से सप्लाई किया। उससे हमें लगता है कि हम जो अपने कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से संबंधित जो फील्ड है उससे हम आगे बढ़ पाए हैं और बढ़ेंगे। और ये CSR रिसर्च, CSR ही नहीं होना चाहिए, CSR जैसे अग्रवाल साहब ने कहा था, कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, मुझे लगता है कि हर आदमी की जिम्मेदारी है, मेरी, आपकी, समाज के हर वर्ग की जिम्मेदारी है। हर व्यक्ति कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता है, उसके लिए कोई बहुत पैसे वाला होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, उसके लिए कोई बहुत बड़ा प्रोफेशनल होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। ये CSR के बजाय इंडियन सोशल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी शब्द भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि हर व्यक्ति का दायित्व है और हर व्यक्ति किसी न किसी रूप में कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता है। अगर हम उस रूप में कंट्रीब्यूट कर पाए तो मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि कोई भी, किसी को भी हेल्प की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, सब सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप की तरह से काम करेंगे और देश हमारा विश्व गुरु बनेगा। जय हिंद, जय भारत। आपने मेरी बात को सुना, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।